Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the 8th episode of the story, where things go wrong during the last Sasuke retrieval mission, and Naruto is blamed. Tired of everything being his fault, he creates a new way of thinking that contradicts every belief he once held. The issue is that not everyone appears to be thrilled with the change. To show your support, like and subscribe. Let's get this show going. After leaving towards home, Naruto was thinking again of how much stronger he was now and the fact that one of Iwa's finest is his sensei. Suddenly, Naruto became interested in learning about shinobi celebrities around the elemental nations. He was ashamed to know that from all the high-level shinobis around the world, he only knew three, those being Zabuza, Kisame and now Aoi. Naruto always had interest in learning about tough shinobis, hence the fact that the Ondime Hokage was his idol. However, he would like to know if there are S-ranked level shinobis in other countries as well, and the one place he knew he could learn, of course, was the library. Ever since he initiated this new phase in his life, the library was his next favorite place besides the ramen stand. So he decided to head to the library, pick a few books, then head to the ramen stand for some dinner and then head home to do some reading. With Kakashi and Aoi after seeing the blonde leave, the older shinobi decided to treat the younger one for some dinner and converse with Kakashi on something. Aoi was quite impressed by the Yondame's son and his abilities to grow even further than Naruto's father, so impressed that he was having doubt about staying out of active duty any longer. Kakashi, after receiving the invitation, accepted while saying that he didn't have anything else to do and some dinner would be nice. When both of them entered inside a sushi place, Kakashi began to read his book while trying to understand the old man's reasons for wanting to talk to him. Aoi for his part wondered why the hell was the silver shinobi reading such book while having dinner, but shrugged it off and turned to ask the man. "Kakashi-san, tell me how it is to be a Konoha shinobi," asked Aoi, to which Kakashi landed his book on top of the table and turned to look at the old man with suspicion. "Why do you ask? I thought you enjoyed the calm life of retirement," mumbled Kakashi. Aoi smirked after remembering that he indeed liked resting next to the river and see the sunlight illuminate the trees that surround the village. However, the man was a shinobi, thus not doing anything can only do a ninja so much before boredom arises. At first, yes, I considered just resting and doing nothing. However, being such an active shinobi as I was back in Iwa Anbu, boredom seems to be my mortal enemy right now and I can't let this happen. I thought about applying for academy teacher, since I'm a firm believer that Konoha's program is a little too soft with the future generation, thus a little more incentive was in order. However, after fighting Naruto so much, I realized that if I can parry against such a stamina freak like him, I could perhaps return to active duty as a Jounin and take a Jounin team to teach. What do you think? Asked Aoi, to which Kakashi turned to think a little bit. Kakashi knew that he wasn't the best for advice in times like these. The results of him being placed as Jounin sensei for Team 7 proved disastrous to say the least. After seeing how much potential Naruto has in his ability to learn everything that is taught to him in minutes, Kakashi was somewhat blaming himself from focusing too much on Sasuke and abandoning the other two, to whom the silver-haired Jounin actually thought could gain more from his training than the traitor, even if the council pretty much demanded his full attention to the last Uchiha. "Oizen, I can only tell you so much about being a shinobi for the leaf, however I am not the best one to tell you about taking on a team of Jounin," whispered Kakashi that last part, to which Aoi looked surprised. "Okay, tell me first about being a shinobi for the leaf and then we can discuss as to why you don't feel the best candidate for taking on a team of Jounin," suggested Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded and turned to explain to the man. "Because of your age and experience, I can say for sure that you will adapt quite nicely to the program. Our village focus more on teamwork than individual abilities, however not as much that out shinobi cannot handle himself in one-on-one fight, thus why the last phase of the Chunin exams is a one-on-one fight. After passing the Chunin exams, our shinobi goes from being another one on a squad to squad captain, thus beginning to perform missions with other shinobis. In order to become a Jounin, one has to master at least 2 elements and perform enough B and A ranked missions to earn experience. As to your case, actually the only position available would be to train our future Jounin," said Kakashi, to which Aoi looked at him and questioned as to the reason of Kakashi's last statement. "The reason is simple, Oizen. Tsunade-sama wouldn't send you in B and even A ranked missions, simply because there isn't one in which a Sannin level ninja would perform, thus leaving only S ranked ones and special ones that only Jiraiya-sama has the ability and proficiency to do it. Actually, the third Hokage already considered this as well, therefore he placed Jiraiya with a Jounin team that consisted of the Ondime Hokage and 2 other ones whose names escaped me. Orochimaru took Naruto's girlfriend Anko as his personal apprentice and Tsunade chose her lover's niece Shizune to become her apprentice. explained Kakashi, to which Aoi thought about it and concluded that he would accept the offer should it arise. Okay, training a couple of brats is okay as well. If they have half the will to learn as Naruto has, then my team will be quite strong in the future. Now tell me about why you don't feel competent to tell me about being a Jounin for Jounin after we get to order, though. I'm quite hungry right now and you can blame the brat for this, said Aoi before they called for the waiter who, then wrote their orders. After Aoi thanked the man, he turned to Kakashi, who was now looking down in clear shame, and opened his mouth. I failed with my own. My team was composed of Naruto, the last Uchiha, Sasuke and Haruno Sakura. At the time of the team assembly, Konoha's council called me and ordered me to give all attention to teaching Uchiha Sasuke simply because he was the last one of the founding clans of Konoha. At the time I didn't know that Naruto have such potential to learn everything in record time, and the fact that because of his dead last position in the academy, I assumed he would eventually give up being a ninja. Sakura showed every aspects of being a fangirl towards Sasuke, up to the point of not even wanting to train while thinking that the Uchiha would save her in the end, said Kakashi, to which Aoi nodded and let the man continue. However, after Orochimaru attacked the village, he marked Sasuke with a seal that gave him power, and Sasuke defected Konoha and went to join the Snake Sannin. After that, Sakura was apprenticed to the Hokage and Naruto was apprenticed to Jiraiya. Sakura managed to learn a lot from Tsunade-sama, thus gaining a lot of the abilities that made our Hokage famous throughout the elemental nations. Jiraiya-sama, however, didn't teach Naruto much other than a few basics on genjutsu and trying to help Naruto control the Kyuubi's chakra. At the end of 3 years of training, although his physical abilities improved, Naruto didn't learn much, thus wasting 3 years of his life. When Naruto returned from the trip, his team at the time went to retrieve Sasuke from the clutches of Orochimaru. However, the mission failed because Orochimaru appeared and Naruto had to use 4 taels worth of the Kyuubi's power, thus wasting a lot of stamina and also not being able to fight against the Uchiha, thus failing the mission. Naruto's change, however, was when they returned and all of his teammates blamed him for the failure. After that, he abandoned his teammates and decided to train on his own. To sum up, Naruto became stronger in 1 year training alone than in 4 years with a teacher. Therefore, it's safe to say that I failed all of my students. Even though I taught Sasuke a lot, he ended up defecting Konoha for power. Sakura improved a lot under Tsunade-sama's guiding and Naruto became stronger on his own. None of them needed me, finished Kakashi before looking even further towards the ground. Aoi for his part, now knew why the man was sad about it. However, he saw at Naruto's eyes when Kakashi was there and he knew that the blonde still regarded the Jounin as a sensei figure. Kakashi, I wouldn't consider a failing as you put it. I can see that Naruto still praises you as his sensei. He still sees you a teacher, said Aoi, to which Kakashi smiled. Naruto is a special case, anyone would be furious in his case, however he isn't. He came to know of the council's orders to teach Sasuke and said that I wasn't to blame for the team, however he also told me that he's better training alone and that alone hurt me a lot, mumbled Kakashi, to which Aoi smiled. After a while, any shinobi can learn stuff on their own. You managed to create Konoha's strongest assassination technique pretty much by yourself. The Ondaime created Rasengan and Hiraishin all by himself. Naruto is already able to create jutsus on his own, simply because he already knows the theory needed for shinobi arts, explained Aoi, to which Kakashi looked at the man wondering what he was implying. Naruto doesn't need anyone to teach him anymore. We're just preparing him to fight A and S-ranked shinobis, said Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded. I talked to the Hokage about teaching Naruto all forms of elemental manipulation in the future. Do you think he is able to learn? Asked Kakashi, to which Aoi turned to think about it. Iwa Shinobi wasn't fond of its shinobi learning all forms of elemental manipulation. In order to become a Jounin in Iwa, one should have mastered Doden manipulation and master either taijutsu or kenjutsu. He learned from the silver man in front of him, that here in Konoha, in order to become a Jounin, one had to master at least 2 forms of elemental ninjutsu and participate in several successful missions. However, the thought of learning all forms of elemental manipulation was a concept that didn't mean anything to Aoi, simply because, according to the man, no matter how much knowledge one ninja has, if a simple kunai pierces the heart, the man is history. I don't understand how eager you guys are to learn all forms of elements. No matter how much you know, you're still vulnerable to a simple kunai. He could learn all of them easily, however it won't matter in the battlefield, Kakashi said Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded. Naruto is a master in kenjutsu. I had a friend from the Anbu forces take good care of that. He already knows Suten, Doden and few Uten techniques, only leaving Kaden and Raiden to master. His cage bunshines can learn everything in much less time, thus being able to learn them all, explained Kakashi, to which Aoi snorted and said once again that learning all elements doesn't say anything. In learning all elements, he could be promoted to Tokubetsu Jounin in ninjutsu and further promoted to full Jounin after some accomplished missions. I've already talked to the Hokage and she is afraid of Naruto suffering from mental overload, said Kakashi, to which Aoi laughed and turned to say. That old hag needs to stop worrying about her little brother in such a way and begins to treat him as the powerful Chunin he is right now. As to mastering all elements, he won't have any trouble learning it, however he'll have to approve first, said Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded. With Naruto at the library, Naruto was taking a few books on some famous shinobi from Konoha. Unfortunately, his idea of getting to know about shinobis from other nations was flushed down the toilet simply because Konoha preferred to divulge information of its own rather than those from other countries. For Naruto to know about others, he would have to pick a specific book called Bingo Book that contained information of all famous shinobi with expensive bounties in the black market. However, the librarian made sure to pick the books containing Konoha's best and handle them to the blonde. After checking all the books and telling Naruto to give them back in 20 days, Naruto bid her farewell and left the public library towards the ramen stand. Upon arrival, he simply shouted his favorite order to the old man and was surprised to see that only Tuchi's daughter was attending tonight. What a surprise, Naruto-kun. I wasn't expecting you here. It's been so long since you came to see us, said Ayame as she wrote Naruto's order and began to prepare the meal. Naruto, for his part, smiled at the girl and turned to answer. Sorry about that, Ayame-kun. The fact is that I've been so busy with missions and training that I didn't have time to think about my stomach needs. Say, where is your father? Asked Naruto, earning the woman's attention while waiting for the noodles to be ready. Father went to a village close by to handle with a royal supplier. The man's prices rose considerably and now father went there to negotiate with him, explained Ayame before looking at the gold-hair, blue-eyed man in front of her. Ayame found it strange to begin a crush on such person, simply because she saw him growing up. When Sandaime Hokage came in and brought a happy-go-lucky little kid to the stand, Ayame was already 12 years old. After that, Ayame saw Naruto growing up while shouting how good ramen is to anyone that was present. Now, however, he was calm and reserved. Thus the fact that he was patiently waiting for the food to arrive, showed to the girl how much Naruto grew up. Not to mention that his new shinobi appearance really suited him as well. When the clock rang showing that the noodles were done, Ayame woke up from her daydream and went to check on Naruto's dish. The blonde for his part was suspicious of the looks he was receiving from Ayame and wondered if perhaps the woman was starting a crush on him. Upon figuring this out, Naruto wished to be other place right now. He wasn't used to this kind of situation and now he was thinking of how to tell her that he has a girlfriend. After Ayame settled Naruto's dish in front of him, he thanked her and began to eat quietly while appreciating the food of the gods. Ayame, however, knew that the blonde already found a woman for him and also knew that she was much older than him just like she was. While Ayame didn't like to fall for guys that were already taken, she couldn't help but look at the blonde's looks for a moment. Tell me something, Naruto-kun. I know that you already have a girlfriend and I also know that she's older than you, so I'd like to know how the age gap doesn't affect the relationship? Asked Ayame, being quite forward, making Naruto even more uncomfortable and even more suspicious of the woman in front of him, to which the girl managed to catch it. I didn't mean to be so forward here. I'm just curious and don't worry about me coming onto you, Naruto-kun. I find you really cute and all, but you already has a girlfriend, said Ayame, albeit a little bit sad at the last part, to which Naruto smiled and nodded at the girl. Sorry about that, Ayame-kun, it's just that I'm not used to this. As to the age gap between me and Anko, I wouldn't see it as an obstacle to a relationship. Our lives are very similar and our characteristics are almost identical in a way. Anko is a wonderful person once you pass by her emotional wall that she uses to hide her true self. Normally I wouldn't believe in fate so much, seeing that my life wasn't exactly nice and all, however Anko and I share a lot of burden together. Not to mention the fact every time she smiles, it makes me want to make her smile even more in return, said Naruto, earning heart eyes from Ayame, who in turn was already seeing a romance movie in front of her. That's pretty romantic, Naruto-kun. I wouldn't picture you for one, though. I guess that I've never realized in what kind of man you grew up to. This Anko person is very lucky to have someone like you in her life, said Ayame before turning away from the blonde so as to keep the tears that were already falling for herself. However, she wasn't fast enough and Naruto saw it. The blonde was now sad that he ended up causing this, but it was never his intention to do so. However, now he needed to calm the girl and explain to her a few things. Ayame-kun, please don't cry. It wasn't my intention to make you cry, I just didn't realize that you felt this way for me. said Naruto, but was stopped by Ayame's hands waving him off. "It's not your fault, Naruto-kun, it's mine for not seeing you with different eyes until it was already too late. Every time I saw you, I imagined that sweet kid that came in here and pretty much eat all our stack of ramen. But now that I see you differently, it's too late for me," whispered Ayame, to which Naruto left and appeared at the back of the shop to comfort the girl who happily rested her head on his shoulder. "Ayame-kun, as flattered as I am that you feel this way for me, my heart belongs to Anko. Please don't be mad at me from saying that I don't view you as more than a close friend of mine. As long as I can remember, you're there for me to talk to and I appreciate it, but," said Naruto, but once again was interrupted by Ayame. "It's okay, Naruto-kun. I'm not offended. There were times I saw you as a little brother figure as well. I can see how much are your feelings for this Anko, and I hope you two have a happy life together. I just wanted to know if maybe our friendship isn't ruined by my stupidity and that we can talk with each other every now and then," said Ayame, to which Naruto smiled and nodded. "Do not worry, Ayame-kun, we'll always be able to talk with each other, and in case you're in need of help, please come to me and I will help as much as I can," said Naruto, to which Ayame nodded and lifted her head to look at the face she fell for smiling at her. After they broke the hug, Naruto bid her farewell and left to his place so as to read the books. However, one thought passed on his head, and that was the possibility of others like Ayame feeling the same way for him. He sighed in apprehension at any positive possibility simply because he didn't like to be in these situations where he needed to comfort the girl and pretty much crush their heart in response. However, his heart belonged to Anko now. With Anko after another victory for Konoha's team against the bandits, Anko and teammate were returning to Tasuna's place to rest. On the way, Anko talked to Kurenai about telling the shy Hyuga about her relationship with the blonde. To say that Kurenai was scared would be an understatement. She was terrified for her student, simply because Naruto was the sole reason of her improvement up to now. Once upon a time, Hinata told Kurenai that she wouldn't quit, simply because Naruto wouldn't as well. However, she understood Anko's reasons, also felt that handling this situation as quickly as possible would ease the girl's heartache in time. She remembered already telling that the blonde was seeing someone, however she didn't tell Hinata who it was or how evolved the relationship was. After arrival, Kiba and Akamaru went to their room in order to sleep a little bit, as did Shino. However, as Hinata went to hers, Kurenai called her and asked her to stay for a while, to which the girl nodded and complied. What is it, Kurenai-sensei?" asked Hinata, to which Kurenai breathed a little bit before delivering the bomb. "Hinata, I called you here because me and Anko here wanted to talk to you about something," said Kurenai, making Hinata look at the woman next to Kurenai, worrying what this was about, before Kurenai began talking once again. "Hinata, do you remember when I said that Naruto was already seeing someone?" asked Kurenai, to which Hinata sighed and nodded, while remembering how much she cried that day. After seeing the nod, the red-eyed Jounin proceeded. "Well, the thing is, I know who said person is, and it's already came the time for you to face this issue if you want to grow up as a kunoichi as well as a woman. The person who's dating Naruto is my friend Anko here," said Kurenai, earning a whelp in surprise from the Hyuga girl, who almost broke her neck when she turned to meet said person and look her in the eyes for the first time since the mission started. After looking for a moment, Hinata sighed once again, but this time in defeat. When Kurenai told her that Naruto was already seeing someone, she went to her room and cried the whole day, cursing how shy she was and how stupid she was not to have the guts to tell the blonde how she felt about him. However, after said day, Hinata wondered about what she liked the most about Naruto and was ashamed to realize that the only thing she liked about him was how much determination he has to stand up and never give up on things that are in front of him. Hinata didn't have anything against Anko, other than the fact that she could be quite scary when needed be. Hinata also knew that Naruto changed a lot from the one he was before leaving with Jiraiya for training. Kurenai-sensei, I'll be honest and say that I was sad on that day and cried a lot also. However, you're right when you said that the only feeling I have for Naruto-kun is his determination and bravery to stand up for what he believes. I also know that he is stronger than before, thus he needs a powerful companion by his side. I wouldn't be able to fill such a role with him, said Hinata, looking down in shame at her abilities, to which Kurenai looked at her student with pity. Anko, however, was already fuming at the girl. She actually wondered if Hyugas were bipolar or something. Kurenai-kun, I'm sorry, but this girl needs to learn a lesson in self-confidence. You say you admire Naruto-kun's strength and will to not give up, and yet you wallow yourself in self-pity, saying over and over again how weak you are compared to others, shouted Anko, to which Kurenai snorted at the sudden outburst, saying that it won't solve anything by screaming. Hinata, however, lowered her head even more in shame, but she couldn't help it. It was in her nature to be always looked down upon. In all her life as a kunoichi, Not once did she manage to win her fears, and the only time she managed was when Naruto cheered for her match against Neji in the preliminaries. When the Hyuga girl moved to say anything, everyone was surprised to see a Kikaiku bug leaving Hinata and Shino appearing in the living room. Hinata, although I wouldn't use such words that Anko's in here just used, I concur with her assessment regarding your self-confidence. I admit Naruto simply exhales waves of confidentiality, however you can't depend on him to be self-confident. I've already seen you able to beat opponents that either I or Kiba had trouble beating. You need to realize that you have abilities that can match with ninjas and when you're focused. Therefore, it's my assessment that you should be more confident of your abilities as a kunoichi, said Shino, to which Kurenai and Anko smiled and turned to look at the girl, who in turn, smiled at the bug user and is concerned for her well-being. Kurenai and Anko managed to see a bright smile on Hinata's face at Shino's concern, and one thought came through both women. Shino was always there for the girl when she was in trouble and never once treated her less than anyone. However, this was because all of your aims preferred logic over anything else, and thus, treating anyone differently than the other with no reason at all would be illogical. Thanks, Shino-kun. I will try to improve my self-confidence, said Hinata, smiling at the Aburame, who lifted his eyebrow in surprise upon seeing the woman smiling at him. With Naruto, once he settled down at his apartment, he laid the books at the table and made some tea to drink while going over the story of Konoha's best since its foundation. When Naruto opened the book, he wasn't surprised to see that the first man on the book was the Shodaime Hokage. Master of Makuten, with release, Senju Hashirama was considered the strongest shinobi of its time, and rumors said that the man was able to control the Baijuas at will. Naruto knew about Yamato and the fact that he is a Makuten user as well, which made him wonder if Yamato was by chance related to the Shodai and by consequence, the Hokage, since Tsunade is the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Flipping the page, he saw Hashirama's brother Senju Tobirama and once again was fascinated by the man's prowess with Suiten and Jutsu. Tobirama was able to use Suiten and Jutsu without the need of water being nearby by simply taking advantage of the atmosphere molecules, thus generating water from nothing. Not to mention that the man's genjutsu repertoire was considered to be legendary amongst the shinobis. After reading about Tobirama, Naruto turned to think as to how the man was able to attain such level of control and wondered if he could eventually learn how to use Suiten and Jutsu without the need of water, and vowed to ask either Kakashi or Aoi tomorrow. Since Naruto already knew about the Sandaime, the Ondaime and the Senins, he skipped said pages and landed on someone called Hatake Sakumo. According to the book, Sakumo was a Sanin-level shinobi who committed seppuku after a failed mission. Being referred by the elemental nations as the White Fang of Konoha because of some white chakra that seems to fill his body and channel to his sword, Sakumo rivaled the power of the Senins. Naruto recognized the last name as the same as his sensei and wondered why he never saw any white chakra coming from the man. Vowing to ask Kakashi later, Naruto moved to turn the page only to see the one responsible for a lot of bad events in Konoha. Uchiha Itachi was considered the clan's prodigy on his time and maybe even considered the best since Uchiha Madara. Having graduated the academy at the age of 6 and becoming an Anbu captain by the age of 12, Itachi was considered a genius. Although Naruto blamed Orochimaru for killing the Sandaime and causing the death of many shinobi, it was Itachi's actions that killed his entire clan and transformed Sasuke into a damn fool who did nothing but demand power to kill Itachi. Also, Itachi was a part of the group who was after the monster inside of him. Although Naruto was stronger now, he was humble enough to know that he wouldn't be able to fight a man of Itachi's level, not only because of the Uchiha's abilities as a shinobi, but also the man's Sharingan. Naruto figured that summoning a number of Kage Bunshines to deal with Itachi wouldn't do so much results, and fighting one-on-one would be plain suicide. Naruto knew that in order to fight an Uchiha, one has to figure out how to either counter the Sharingan or outnumber him. That being said, the Chunin concluded that he should never attempt to fight Itachi alone. However, Naruto also knew that he would have to fight against Sasuke alone. Nevertheless, Sasuke would be easier to fight because he wouldn't have to worry about Sasuke using Tsukiyomi on the blonde, simply because Sasuke's Sharingan isn't as evolved as Itachi. Thinking of his old rival, Naruto wondered how the hell Sasuke could live with himself. Focusing so much on revenge and the body becomes accustomed to it to the point that when the man gets his revenge, there isn't so much the man could do afterwards. Naruto heard that from Kakashi once and it made perfect sense. After setting his mind purely on revenge, even if Sasuke did manage to kill Itachi, it's possible that Sasuke's life would simply have no meaning whatsoever. After viewing a couple of pages, Naruto sighed, since apart from the first ones, the rest wasn't that much impressive. A few were able to master a specific ninjutsu element, but none of them ever matched Nidaime's level of control in terms of Suiten and Jutsu. Others were kenjutsu masters and even managed to create some styles that rivaled the ones from Kiri, however none of the others worth Naruto's interest. Closing the book, he went to sleep snorting that he didn't find any valuable information in order to focus on, aside from attempting Nidame's level of control in Suiten and Jutsu, which was almost impossible to achieve simply because Suiten is a secondary affinity. The next day after arriving at the lake, he was surprised to see both his senseis were already there and turned to make a joke at Kakashi from being kicked out of bed against his will. After hearing the little comment, Aoi grinned and Kakashi snorted at the blonde from the joke. Naruto dismissed the issue and turned to talk to Kakashi a little bit over what he came up with last night. Naruto turned to explain about the time he read about Nidame's water manipulation ability and asked if such level was attainable. Kakashi was surprised at the question, but decided to think about it for a moment. The Nidame Hokage was indeed famous for Suiten manipulation, however that was because of the fact that he had a primary affinity for Suiten and yours is a secondary affinity. Also, no book ever told how the man did it, simply because it's almost impossible to attain such a level. The Senju clan has high affinities for earth and water-based jutsus running in their bloods, thus how the Shodaime was able to use Makuten in jutsu. For you to have such level of control over Suiten and jutsu, thus being able to extract water from the atmosphere, you'd have to be able to focus Suiten chakra and channel it at the atmosphere, which it's difficult even in theory, said Kakashi, to which Naruto nodded. Seeing the need to interrupt the conversation, Aoi approached the blonde and landed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto, we won't be training ninjutsu this week. This week will be all for meditation and awareness training. You will be in the middle of the lake sitting on top of the water while focusing chakra through your senses of smell and hearing. For a moment, nothing will happen simply because achieving the level in which I hope you achieve will require a lot of patience. However, being a shinobi, you won't have time in the battlefield, thus it's important that you can be focused at all times. Being that said, Kakashi and I will try to take away your attention by whatever means necessary. At the end of the exercise, you'll tell us what we did and how we did it, understood? Asked the man, smiling, to which Naruto once again snorted and mumbled words like sending the man back to Iwa. If I knew you're such a slave driver, I wouldn't have accepted this mission, mumbled Naruto as he went to the middle of the lake, earning laughter from Maui, who turned to reply. The more you complain about it, the more I'll feel compelled to increase the training. Now stop mumbling and head to the lake, said Aoi. Kakashi, while being the one who was listening to the conversation, was concurring with Naruto about the man being a slave driver. Man, he is even tougher than Minato-sensei. However, when Kakashi saw the devious smile in the man's face, he definitely didn't want to be in Naruto's shoes right now. Seeing the blonde, he was already positioned in the middle of the lake and closing his eyes. Kakashi, both of us will be using elemental ninjutsu. I'll be shaping the earth around the lake and you'll be using both Kaden and Suiten and jutsu. For this day, we'll see if he's able to identify which techniques we are using, said Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded. However, one question was in mind. Doten is impossible to tell just by hearing, Oizen. He won't be able to tell one technique for the other simply because the only thing he'll hear is the earth moving, question Kakashi, to which Aoi smiled since he was expecting such question. Naruto is a Doten user as well, thus he knows how each techniques sound like. Also, I'll only be using the techniques he knows, so he will be able to hear, said Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded and waited for the signal to start the jutsu. Inside a cave near Rice Country while Naruto was training, his old rival was with the kusanagi in his hand, dueling against some auto jounins. Charging Chidori through the sword, Sasuke attacked the auto jounins, who didn't even had a chance and were electrified from the attack. After that, Sasuke sheathed his kusanagi and Medicnins went to attend the unconscious jounins on the ground. Applauses were horrible and Sasuke turned to face the snake Sannin, who was accompanied by Kabuto. After the whole interaction with his old peers from Konoha, Sasuke intensified his training. The reason being that he now knew of Naruto's secret and couldn't help but want to test his abilities once again against the Jinchuriki. It didn't help that, after the encounter, he knew from Orochimaru that Naruto summoned 4 taels worth of the Kyuubi's chakra and became stronger than the snake Sannin. Wasn't for the fact that Naruto in such form became berserk, Orochimaru would have been hard-pressed to save his life instead of facing the little Kyuubi. Also, according to Kabuto's rat inside Konoha, Naruto is being trained by an S-ranked missing from Iwa who fought at the Third Shinobi War. However, Sasuke's pride in his rivalry against the blonde got the better of him and now he was underestimating the Dobi's abilities. Kabuto also told him about the blonde now being a chunin and performing quite a number of missions in Konoha. Turning to a huge boulder, Sasuke transformed into his second stage of the curse seal and made some hand signals. Kaden Gyuryukin no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Dragon Fire Jutsu. After that, a huge dragon head made of fire charged against the boulder and a high explosion echoed through the cave for minutes before dissipating the sound. Satisfied with the results of his creation, Sasuke reverted back to his normal self, before turning towards to where his room would be. However, as he began to walk, he was called by the snake Sannin. Upon looking at the snake Sannin, Sasuke usually wondered why the man would close his eyes or turn his back to the Uchiha upon speaking. Little did he know, however, that when the Sharingan is activated, Sasuke could see where the opponent was going to be next, thus being able to see what the man's thinking. "Sasuke-kun, it's time that we tested your abilities so that when the day comes, you can kill Itachi for good," said Orochimaru, to which Sasuke remained staring in denial. "Until now, you faced only Jounin level shinobis and won. However, Itachi is an S-ranked shinobi, thus you'll have to start taking on tougher opponents. In 2 weeks' time, you'll go to Konoha and eliminate Uzumaki Naruto. Not only he'll be able to test you quite well, also you can eliminate that little pest who's ruining all my plans," ordered Orochimaru, to which Sasuke snorted. "The Dobi isn't by any means close to Itachi's level and it would only be a waste of my time to face him in battle," said Sasuke before turning to his room. However, he didn't know that Orochimaru's best ability was that he is able to provoke anyone into going berserk. "If I didn't know so well, I would say that you're scared of Uzumaki." "What? Too afraid that he could beat you and send your Uchiha pride down the toilet," said Orochimaru before feeling the killing intent that was radiating from the Uchiha. "Don't you dare diminish the Uchiha's pride. Naruto is nothing compared to me and I'll prove it by bringing his headband to you," shouted Sasuke before storming out of the training art and heading to his room. After seeing the Uchiha leave, Orochimaru smirked at his companion. "So much power, yet so easy to control. Soon, Sasuke, soon your body will be mine," said Orochimaru, as he licked his lips in delight over having the Sharingan for himself. With Naruto Kaden Hausuke no Jutsu, Fire Release, Mythical Phoenix Fire Jutsu, Doton Doryuki no Jutsu, Earth Release, Earth Wall Jutsu, Suten Sweryu Udan no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Dragon Jutsu. As the noise caused by the techniques, Naruto now knew what Aoi meant by distracting him, although he didn't see why the use of jutsus and not directly disrupting his concentration like he was supposed to. Naruto, long ago, became somewhat accustomed to being in said position on top of the water. Also, focusing chakra on his ears and nose turned to be a delighted experience for him because now he was able to hear noises that normally he wouldn't be paying attention, like the sound of the running water or the sound of the wind blowing the leaves. However, he had yet to attain the state of tranquility that Aoi mentioned, simply because of the sudden noises coming from the jutsus that Aoi and Kakashi were performing. Another aspect that Naruto was finding hard to get by was the damn fox that was laughing evilly at the blonde's attempt of obtaining peace within. "Don't make me laugh, boy, with me inside of you, you'll never be able to achieve such state of mind," said Kyuubi, to which Naruto ignored and proceeded to just focus on hearing and smelling the outside world. At the end of the meditation exercise, Naruto stretched a little bit because of the time he stayed seating and walked towards his two senseis, who smiled at the blonde. "So Naruto, first let me explain that although I'm sure you didn't reach the state of mind that I mentioned, you was able to remain seated with your eyes closed for quite a long time. So, for today, you passed. However, me and Kakashi here had a hidden exercise, hence the jutsus that we used, as I'm sure you heard them," said Aoi, to which Naruto nodded and turned to ask. "I thought the jutsus were meant to distract me?" asked Naruto. "They were, however, seeing that this week, you'll be performing meditation exercises as well as awareness exercises, and today you'll be tested in elemental ninjutsu based on what you hear or smell. So, both I and Kakashi used a total of 6 jutsus in order to distract you. Can you tell us what elements were there and try to guess what techniques there were?" asked Aoi, to which Naruto closed his eyes and began to speak as he was remembering what happened. "Well, the first one was a Kaden jutsu because the raise in the area's temperature. Also, I managed to hear only one strike, which meant that was a one-hit attack, so it was either the Gukakyu no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Fireball Jutsu, or Karyudan no Jutsu, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Projectile Jutsu," described Naruto, to which Kakashi responded. "Close enough, but no, you're right regarding the element, but the technique I uses was the Kuruenden no Jutsu, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Flame Jutsu," said Kakashi, to which Naruto snorted at almost getting it right, but proceeded with the other ones. The second was a Doton technique, and the technique was Doton Iwa Yato Kuzushi, Earth Release, Stone Lodging Destruction Jutsu. "I managed to hear the stone sliding down the mountain," said Naruto, to which Aoi nodded and smiled at the correct answer. The third was easy from being the target of it once. It was Kakashi's Chidori simply because of the sound that were equivalent to birds chirping at the same time, said Naruto, earning a nod from Kakashi, who thought it was quite easy to figure out and let Naruto figure out the last three. The fourth one was a katen, and because of the multiple hits that reached my ears, I'm guessing it's the Housekan no Jutsu simply because this is the only one able to hit multiple targets, said Naruto, and then looked at Kakashi, who nodded and counted 3 right answers out of 4 jutsus used. As to the fifth one, I could hear the noise of mud falling on the ground, so it was an earth jutsu. As to the technique is no doubt, the Doryuki no Jutsu, earth release, earth wall jutsu, explained Naruto, to which Aoi nodded in consent. The last one, however, I'm in doubt. I know it was a Suiten ninjutsu from the water noise, however as to the other noise I can't figure if it was from a dragon, Suryudan no Jutsu, or the noise of the Daibafuku no Jutsu, water release, grand waterfall jutsu, thought Naruto, to which Kakashi smiled and said it was the first one. After the conclusion of the exercise, Aoi applauded the blonde in passing this week's first test. Nicely done, Naruto. Now seeing as this week is pure meditation, we will only be doing this once a day. Seeing that we still have the light of day, let's discuss a little bit about the Kazikiri. Tell us your ideas for such creation, asked Aoi, and then motioned the 3 of them to sit. Well, I have to say I haven't thought about it that much, because of the whole Suiten level control. However, I was thinking of the same movement as the Reikiri. I was thinking in terms of focusing Fuuten chakra around my hand and maybe creating what would be like a wind drill. Starting bigger wind rotations around my wrist and finishing with shorter and more precise wind rotations on my fingers, thus literally creating a wind edge, explained Naruto, more like trying to describe a picture than explaining the theory. Nevertheless, by seeing Aoi and Kakashi nod and pause for thinking a little bit, Naruto felt satisfied that both of them got the idea. Kakashi, however, expressed his concern over Naruto's idea. In theory, the technique is attainable. However, for you to accomplish this kind of technique, you have to be able to control the speed of each rotation, said Kakashi, earning a look of confusion from Naruto, to which Kakashi turned to explain a little better. As you learned from the Rasengan, the smaller the rotation, the faster it is. Using the drill as example, the top rotations aren't as fast as the bottom, or as you said, the edge of the drill. So in order for you to be able to perform such technique, you'll need to learn about how to control wind velocity. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. You not only need to learn how to control speed, but also being able to increase its speed from your wrists to the point of your fingers, explained Kakashi, to which Aoi nodded in consent. I agree with both of you in regards to the technique. I agree with your idea, Naruto. Because of what I know of the Reikiri, the only way to replicate with the Fuuten element is in fact to create a wind drill. However, I agree with Kakashi in regards of how tough it will be to perform the technique. Based on what you told us, after you're able to create the wind rotations, the speed in which you charge at the enemy will be the last factor of the creation. The faster you charge, the faster the drill will spin, thus increasing the technique's potential, explained Aoi, to which Naruto nodded. I was thinking of creating 4 different rotations. One slow rotation around the wrist, the second is a little faster rotation around the palm of my hand, the third being around my finger, ending with a faster and more precise rotation around the tip of my finger, explained Naruto, to which Kakashi and Aoi nodded in consent. I can teach you the same speed technique that I taught Sasuke if you so wish to, said Kakashi, but stopped once he felt Naruto's killing intent at such remark. Whether it was because of Sasuke's favoritism or just the mention of the Uchiha's name, Kakashi didn't know. However, Naruto made visible that what Kakashi said did get on the blonde's nerves. Kakashi, this technique was stolen from the person who created 3 years of training without said person's consent. I don't have the nerve to accept a stolen technique, said Naruto in a icy tone, to which Kakashi flinched at the insinuation of him being a thief. However, he remembered Mido Gai saying the same thing to him when Sasuke used that speed to attack Gaara. Be as it may, in order for this technique to hit the opponent, the user must either have a way of knowing when the enemy will try to dodge so that the user can anticipate, said Kakashi, trying to change the topic, to which Naruto swallowed hard and gave his line of thought. I won't be using this technique all the time, Kakashi-sensei. I know of the tunnel vision that your attack produces, so I will only use the Kazikiri when I'm certain that the opponent won't be able to dodge. No offense, but technique like the Rasengan and Reikiri are extremely vulnerable techniques once the enemy knows its weakness. In my point of view, jutsus are the best options for mid to long range fighting. In terms of close range, the best attack is either taijutsu or kenjutsu, said Naruto, to which Aoi nodded at the assessment. Kakashi, however, wasn't so thrilled with the blonde's assessment. Sharingan users are closer-ranged fighters by nature because of how they anticipate one's movements and the fact that Kakashi took 3 years to create the Reikiri, Naruto's ideal was like a direct hit to the Jounin's pride. However, Kakashi knew that Naruto was a mid to long-range fighter, therefore he wouldn't know how it is to fight in closer range. What's the point in creating a closer range jutsu if you don't believe in its potential? Asked Kakashi, to which Aoi looked at the man questioning the reason to the question. However, Naruto smiled at seeing the man was offended by what the blonde said. The point is to cover all my weakness, Kakashi. I have a goal, and that is to be an all-round shinobi. My ambition is to be able to fight in close, mid and long range against any jutsu or fighting style, said Naruto, earning a look in surprise by Kakashi, who thought he already knew everything there is to know about who exactly is Uzumaki Naruto. However, a thought occurred to the silver-haired man and he smiled. So you intend to learn all elements then? Asked the man, to which Aoi looked at him once again, remembering their prior conversation. Although that is seriously difficult, yes, I intend to in the future, learn the other two elements. I've been studying some introduction about fire and lightning manipulation. Of course, learning the elements that are the opposite of my affinities, it seems almost impossible. Water beats fire and wind beats lightning, said Naruto, clenching his fists in anger. However, determination was plainly visible in the blonde's eyes. Kakashi pretty much forgot the remark about closer ranged fighters and smiled at his student. No matter what your affinities are, learning all 5 forms of manipulation is very hard to attain. If I recall, only Jiraiya and Orochimaru were able to learn all of them, and they took a lot of time to do so. However, I believe you might be able to learn all of them in the future. With your Kage Bunshin's, you can have more time to train, thus being eventually able to at least learn a few Katen and Raiden techniques. However, you must know that even though you learn all 5 of them, you must improve the other areas you already know, said Kakashi, to which Naruto nodded and turned to leave since the training ended for today. Once he left, Kakashi stood there smiling while Aoi came near him to talk. His goal is dangerous, Kakashi. Not even the Sharingan user can manipulate all elements, and a ninja's affinity is the ninja's strength, said Aoi, concerned from his student, to which Kakashi smiled once again and answered the man's question. Naruto isn't greedy by any means. He will only learn other forms of manipulation when he masters the ones he already knows. However, Naruto must know that doing so with only 16, could seriously tamper with his mind. The older you are, the better you deal with what you learn, said Kakashi, to which Aoi nodded. 1 week time skip. In the end of this week, Naruto was found once again, sitting in the middle of the lake. However, this time was different than the first time, since Naruto did manage to achieve the state that Aoi mentioned before. On the course of the week, Naruto remained seated until the aching of his muscles while Aoi and Kakashi tested his awareness. So far, Naruto had to tell them how much projectiles were thrown at a specific tree and distinguish the kunais from the shurikens. Kakashi even added an exploding tag to the attack, which earned some complaint from Naruto. Safe to say, Naruto wanted to shove his Kazekiri up the silver-haired man's. Speaking of the Kazekiri, Naruto was in nowhere near achieving the completion of the technique. He managed to create the first rotation around his wrist, but that alone cost him 200 clones in 3 days. Seeing that said amount covered for at least 600 days, Naruto gulped at the feeling of doing in 3 days what he would do in almost 2 years. Any attempts on forming the second rotation were shot down the toilet simply because Naruto had to create the second and focus on the first one as well. After a lot of complaining, Aoi and Kakashi managed to stabilize the blonde by saying that next week, all 3 would either improve the technique or try it in a different way. Now back to the meditation. Once Naruto managed to attain such level of concentration, he wasn't even paying attention to the number of jutsus being cast in front of him, seeing that he now knew that those were named at him. Aoi told him that in this level, Naruto's analytical abilities would rise tenfold, since the blonde would, then, be able to focus on more than one issue at a time, thus, being able to establish the best strategy or the best course of action. Kakashi also warned Naruto that sometimes emotions and instincts can save a shinobi's life and his team as well, to which Naruto nodded at the time, agreeing with the Jounin. After the completion of the exercise, Naruto got up and turned to inspect the damage made by Aoi and Kakashi's techniques. It took their loudest techniques and Naruto didn't even move a muscle, thus proving that he completed the exercise. Aoi smiled at the boy, who was coming out nicely and still had one last week to train. Nicely done, my boy. Now we move on the next and last week of your training. Our focus will be completing the Kazekiri and I'll teach you my legacy, said Aoi, smiling at the boy, who in turn looked at Kakashi as in wondering what the man was talking about, to which Kakashi turned to respond. Aoi was famous in Iwa for being a master in iron manipulation, said Kakashi, to which Naruto's face transformed to astonished in seconds. Do not worry, my boy, when you reach a level of Doten manipulation, iron is the last part and I intend to teach you how. In the end of the week, You'll learn the technique that managed to hold an entire battalion of Konohanins at the Third Shinobi War, said Aoi, to which Kakashi's eyes were wide in realization and Naruto caught such reaction. They were rumors that an iron wall was lifted around a specific gate of Iwa one day, stopping one of our troops to invade Iwa. However, when the Yondame's troops reached that location, the wall was gone. That was a jutsu? Asked Kakashi, now feeling a higher sense of respect for the ex-Iwa shinobi. You bet it was. It is my masterpiece called Doden Tetsu Toride, Earth Release, Iron Fortress Jutsu. Let me tell you, though, that day I was sent to the hospital from chakra exhaustion from how long I held the wall. You, on the other hand, Naruto, have the chakra capacity to maintain the wall for longer periods of time, said Aoi while smiling with pride upon finally being able to pass on his legacy. Naruto, for his part, was still stunned. The thought of being able to learn such an art was foreign to him, at least at this point in life. Now hearing that he would learn it in a week's time, he was ecstatic to say the least. On his last week of training, Naruto and Co. were found near the lake where all started. Aoi and Kakashi were watching as Naruto closed his eyes and focused on controlling Fuuten chakra in order to attempt the Kazikiri. At one point, Naruto gave up on his theory to create 4 discs of wind along his wrist, stating that not only creating all of them, but also maintaining the rotation was nearly impossible. It was Kakashi, however, who came up with a solution to the problem. He stated that all Naruto had to do is focus on only one rotation and using the acceleration force to narrow the wind, thus giving it a pointy shape at the edge. Upon hearing this, Naruto slapped his forehead and thanked his sensei. Truth be told, Naruto ended up complicating the technique, and that in itself was something even he was surprised. Suddenly, a wind rotation appeared on Naruto's wrist and then, he accelerated with his chakra. The rotation speed would need to be really high if he ever wanted to create an assassination jutsu. Once Naruto achieved the needed velocity, he focused chakra to his legs and propelled himself towards the wooden dummy that was his target. Kakashi was seeing with his Sharingan in hopes of studying the chakra manipulation and see if the drill shape would appear. Indeed, as Naruto charged, the rotation began to narrow at the end, thus creating a true wind drill. When Naruto hit the dummy, he was surprised to see that the technique managed to pierce the target as intended. Kakashi and Aoi came to inspect the damage, but both of them realized pretty much the same thing. Although the technique was deadly, the enemy could easily evade and perform a deadly counterattack which could neutralize Naruto. Kakashi now understood why Naruto would only use this jutsu when he was sure the enemy wouldn't evade. However, he was thrilled to see yet another creation coming from the blonde Chunin. Well done, Naruto. However, I'm sure you know the weakness of this jutsu. Therefore, it's safe to assume that you need to be sure that the enemy won't have the chance to fight back. Furthermore, now that you already mastered the Kazikiri, it's time to teach you about iron manipulation. However, you first need to understand that this is extremely advanced Doden manipulation, so you won't be using cage bunshines for this training, said Aoi, earning question looks from Naruto, to which Aoi chose to clarify for the blonde. This form of manipulation will require you full attention and also all your chakra control. Don't worry, though, once you learned all there is to know about iron manipulation, you'll be able to use cage bunshines for practice reasons, explained Aoi, to which Naruto nodded. In Wave Country, Team 8 and Anko were all happy to know that their mission was finally reaching its peak, therefore it wouldn't take too long to finish. All of them were eager to go back to their village and be able to rest for a while. Being constantly on edge for a whole month proved to be quite a challenge for the Konohanins, and they hoped to return. They knew about the large vacation after a month-time mission and were imagining all the stuff they could do. Anko was imagining more in terms of having her way with Naruto in bed, which involved a rope, handcuffs and some dirty clothes. Kurenai, of course, Mr. Beloved Asuma more than anything, but the thing she longed for was just resting at the hot springs. The rest of the team longed only to see their friends and family and also get to rest a bit before their next mission. Right now, they were heading to the last bandit camp, which was located near the bridge that linked Fire to Wave Country. This camp was the last one remaining of the bandit group that tried taking over Wave Country, hence the fact that it houses the toughest bandits there is. However, it was common knowledge that even the toughest bandit couldn't beat a Chunin ninja. Reaching the camp in record time, Shino began the assault by sending his Kikaiku bugs in order to take out as much enemies as possible before they arrive and take care of the rest. Once that was done, Kiba and Akamaru did a Gotsuga, double piercing fang, and pretty much leveled the place, taking another bunch of criminals. After that, the rest of the group took all the rest without much effort, thus ending the menace against Wave Country. However, seeing as their mission also involved restoring Wave Country after the attack, The group still had to stay and help the workers rebuild the damaged houses. In Konoha back with Naruto, he was kneeling on the ground and lending his right hand as well. According to Aoi's explanation, in order to achieve iron manipulation, Naruto had to focus on Doden chakra and feel the minerals that are located below the ground. The concept was pretty vague for Naruto and Aoi laughed at it, acknowledging that it is indeed vague information. Aoi, however, told the blonde that in order to achieve this level of manipulation, he would need to sense the minerals that are located within the earth and merge them with the earth, thus creating iron. It was already the second day of the week, with the first being spent on mastering the Kazekiri, therefore Naruto only had 5 more days to master iron manipulation, even though Aoi clarified that the objective wasn't to master such manipulation. Instead, the man said that the goal was to know the theory behind it and be able to perform an advanced version of the earth wall, called Doden Tetsuheki no Jutsu, Earth Release, Iron Barrier Jutsu. Naruto was focusing on the earth below him, however so far he couldn't feel anything other than earth and he knew this was a tough challenge. At the end of the day, Naruto was exhausted from focusing so much on chakra control and he couldn't even feel the minerals that are located within the earth. Venting his frustration at his teachers, he was even angrier when Kakashi gave that trademark smile and Aoi just laughed out loud at the Chunnin's outburst. It took a Rasengan formation to tell them Naruto was serious. Aoi was the first to interrupt him. "We were joking, Naruto, stop the Rasengan. Now, this was your first day tying. Tomorrow, you'll do much better. Just remember the meditation exercises that we practiced and you'll do just fine. Rest and we'll see here tomorrow," said Aoi, to which Naruto grumbled some incoherent words that sounded more like "kill slave driver," earning laughter from Aoi. Naruto was exhausted and visibly cursing himself from not being able to complete the exercise. However, Uzumaki Naruto wasn't known for quitting so easily and vowed to get the exercise. Looking at the time and hearing his stomach complaining, he sighed and changed his course towards the ramen stand. Upon arrival, he was surprised to see Team 10 eating there as well. As he approached the stand, he greeted all of his friends, getting replies from Shikamaru, Kuji, and Asuma. Ino, however, rolled her eyes and not uttered a word, clearly demonstrating that she was mad about something. Naruto, upon seeing this reaction, instead of asking what was wrong, shrugged it off and took the last seat available, earning a snarl from Ino who, even though was pissed at the blonde from what he and Anko did to her, was only waiting for him to ask her so that she could begin the assault. However, seeing that Naruto wasn't even paying attention to her, instead, talking to the waitress, she exploded. "Ah, Naruto, you don't want to know why I'm so mad? It's because of you, by the way," shouted Ino, earning the attention of the other blonde. "Don't need to, you'll end up telling me eventually. Imek and I would like some miso ramen, please," said Naruto, earning a nod from Ayame as well as a look of irritation from the blonde Yamanaka. The remnants of the group were now sweating profusely and silently cursing Naruto from enraging Ino. Speaking of said blonde, a vein popped on her forehead and she couldn't handle it anymore. "I'll tell you, Baka. I'm mad at both you and that Anko from what guys did to me at the park the other day," shouted Ino, to which Naruto smiled in a devious way that suddenly warned all the team of the impending doom. "If I recall correctly, Ino, you are the one who used your clan's jutsu on my clone in the first place." "I just defended myself," said Naruto as though it was the most natural thing in the world. Shikamaru was mumbling troublesome blondes all the time and Kuji was eating his chips faster and faster in anticipation. Asuma, on the other hand, laughed at the idea of Kakashi's lazy attitude rubbing off on Naruto. However, he needed to change the subject fast or else Ino would lose control soon. "Tell me, Naruto, how it's Aoi as a teacher. I heard about your training mission," asked Asuma, before smiling when all his team became interested at the subject. Naruto for his part smiled, but this time, was genuine and replied, "The man is a slave driver, that's for sure. His method, albeit physically exhaustive, produces some fine results. Right now, he's teaching me advanced methods of Doden manipulation," said Naruto, earning a nod from Asuma who knew about the man's reputation as an S-rank shinobi. "Doden manipulation? I wasn't aware that you had a Doden affinity," asked Ino, now completely forgotten of the first subject, to which Naruto smiled at the sudden pick of interest. "My affinities are Fuuten and Suten. I just happen to have knowledge on Doden techniques. Sensei was considered a master in Doden manipulation back in Iwa, so he chose to pass his knowledge to me, to whom I'm very grateful just to be picked," smiled Naruto, earning nods of approval by Team 10. Team 10 and Naruto continued to chat a little bit about missions and some techniques until Naruto said his goodbye in order to save some energy for tomorrow. After he left, Ino suddenly remembered what she was mad about, but he was already gone. "I don't believe the nerve of that guy. He totally ignored me in favor of telling about some jutsus, mumbled Ino, to which Shikamaru sighed, mumbling the troublesome word. Ino, even though it's troublesome, indeed it was you who tried to enter his head with the Shintanshin, said Shikamaru, earning a snarl from Ino and then her turning her head as in not wanting to talk to Shikamaru, making Shikamaru sigh and defeat at troublesome blondes. With Naruto, he smiled upon getting another chance in teasing Ino. Even though he was now more reserved, his prankster side still manifests sometimes, making him want to provoke someone, just like when he jokes with Kakashi, Ino and even the Hokage at times. Some would say that when he got older, this dark side of him would eventually diminish. However, seeing that his girlfriend is also a prankster in heart, both of them did trade some tactics involving performing pranks on other people and then laugh while sharing their experience. Naruto remembered how much Anko laughed after teasing Ino at the park that day, and he couldn't wait for Anko to arrive so that he told her of yet another teasing. Quickly arriving at his apartment, he just took off his clothes and fell on top of the bed, thus letting gravity run its course. On the next day, waking up, Naruto dressed up and left his apartment. However, just before he closed the door, he sensed a familiar presence near him. Suddenly, however, this presence appeared in front of the blonde before quickly swinging his sword and attacking Naruto, who in turn defended just in time. "It's good to see you, Rikimaru-san. How is it going?" asked Naruto, to which the Anbu nodded and took off his mask. "I'm fine, Naruto-san. Good defense, by the way. It seems you improved your kenjutsu style," said Rikimaru, to which Naruto smiled and nodded. "I've been practicing a lot with Wazensei, which remind me that I have to go or I'll be late. See you later, Rikimaru-san," said Naruto after jumping towards the next building when he heard Shikamaru returning the gesture. Now charging towards the designated location, Naruto was contemplating on his exercise and wondered how he could finish it. Arriving at the designated spot, Naruto's alert sense began tingling like crazy. Channeling chakra to his ear, his eyes widened as he heard the names of Dodendori Udan no Jutsu, Earth Release, Mud Dragon Projectile Jutsu, and Sudan's Woryu Udan no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Dragon Projectile Jutsu. Not having enough space to evade both techniques which were approaching the blonde, he began his sequence of hand seals for Dodendori Ueki no Jutsu, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu, and spit mud from his mouth. Just when the jutsus were about to collide, a huge wall of mud appeared in front, blocking both attacks, thus saving the blonde for a moment. However, Naruto knew the attacks weren't over simply because none of his teachers appeared calling out his name. Suddenly, the earth around him began to shake violently, making Naruto almost lose his footing, thus having to jump. He cursed his course of action, though, simply because he saw Kakashi making some hand seals only waiting for him to land. True to Naruto's worries, right after he landed on the ground, Kakashi shouted Raiten Rakurai no Jutsu, Lightning Release, Thunderbolt Jutsu, and immediately, a bolt of lightning went straight to Naruto. The blonde, for his part, focused some few Uten chakra and quickly dished to the right, thus evading the lightning. Not wanting to be on defensive, Naruto quickly hid himself underground. Seeing that the ground stopped shaking, Naruto left the premises and appeared behind a tree, where he quickly focused on devising a plan of action. However, the blonde didn't even have time when he heard Aoi yelling Doden Urasu Yasha, Earth Release, Rock Catapult Jutsu, and then numbers of rocks filled the sky and then fell directly where Naruto was hiding, earning a couple of curses from the blonde, who couldn't do anything but defend himself. Summoning some cage bunshines, Naruto sent them to attack his teachers and try to find their location. His plan was to begin the hand seals sequence and wait for his cage bunshine to be dispelled so that he could attack one of them or even both at the same time. Immediately choosing a jutsu which required long sequence, Naruto began molding the necessary chakra in anticipation for when the bunshine is dispelled. When the information of Kakashi's whereabouts came to his mind, he turned to said direction and released his called Fuuten Suidu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Tornado Tunnel Jutsu. Kakashi was taken by surprise when the Naruto he attacked was just a clone, when suddenly a tornado came charging at him and hitting him dead on, setting the man flying. While flying, Kakashi saw that he would bump his head on a tree if he didn't escape the tornado's grasp. Therefore, he made a quick Kawarimi and in his place, remained a tree log. Still positioned for an attack, Naruto was surprised to see Aoi applauding on his choice of strategy. "Wonderful, my boy. For a second there, I thought you only knew how to defend, but your cage bunshine was a splendid technique and took Kakashi by surprise as well," said Aoi before Kakashi appearing by his side with a smile on his face. Naruto, for his part, wasn't so thrilled. What the hell was that all about? You said that in order to complete this exercise, full attention was needed. And now you attack me all of a sudden, shouted Naruto, but before any of them responded, Naruto heard a voice from far. "You can blame me for this little test," Naruto said, Tsunade accompanied by Jiraiya and Shizune. Turning to see the Hokage, Naruto relaxed a little bit before hearing the Hokage speak once again. "This is the last week of your training mission and I wanted to gauge your growth myself, hence why I asked them to test you. It seems that you've grown a lot since I last seen you fighting. Furthermore, since you succeeded in this mission, that means that you are now eligible for applying for the Jounin exam," said Tsunade, before smiling upon seeing Naruto's eyes grew wider. Naruto was humble enough to admit that he was nowhere near Jounin level, and seeing the Hokage telling him that he could apply for the Jounin exam, made him hesitant in a way. "Neji was the first to reach the rank and now you will be the next, congratulations," said Tsunade, smiling, but stopped when she saw that the Chunin was in deep thinking for a while. While Naruto knew he maybe was able to hold a fight against a low-level Jounin, but it's another thing entirely when it comes to his leading skills. Besides, he was due to complete the necessary 20 missions to be able to pass, and so far, he only performed 12. "Tsunade-sama, I still didn't perform the actual number of missions required to pass. Also, I don't believe I'm capable of leading a group," said Naruto, to which Tsunade smiled even more. "I know for a fact that you still 8 missions short from completing the necessary. However, the Anbu chief told me that he managed to fill all the necessary positions, so it will take a while to become a part of Anbu. However, you could very well become a Jounin, even if you believe you aren't ready yet. Do not worry about leading quite yet, normally we only put mid to high level Jounin as leaders. You'll be participating in much tougher missions together with fellow Jounins and high level Chunins." After hearing Tsunade explaining, Naruto was in deep thinking once again. Maybe it was just the rush of events that happened in his life since he decided to change, or was the fact that he didn't believe himself to be Jounin level. Either way, he was reluctant to take the exams. Kakashi watched his student with apprehension. The lazy Jounin was now wondering about how much opposite were Naruto and Sasuke. The Uchiha would be all arrogant, saying that he deserved the position and maybe even more. Naruto, on the other hand, was either mature enough to recognize his weaknesses or he was way too modest and did not believe in his abilities. Aoi for his part knew that Naruto was Jounin material even before he began training the boy. The Ex-1 ninja remembered his fight with the blonde almost 2 months ago and also remembered being on equal terms even if Aoi wasn't going full out. However, the man understood Naruto's apprehension, simply because the same thing happened to him as well. Aoi was considered way too modest amongst his peers, up to the point of not knowing how to take compliments from the Tsushikage. The rest of the present thought that the blonde would jump and shout in happiness at having the chance to be promoted to Jounin in less than a year after becoming a Chunin. However, Jiraiya didn't stay long enough to see the new Naruto, and Shizune still thought that Naruto wanted to become Hokage. Needless to say, both of them were somewhat saddened to see Naruto not being Naruto anymore. "Naruto, tell me what's bothering you? There is more to this wondering than an eventual lack of leadership in future missions," asked Kakashi, to which Naruto nodded at his sensei and smiled upon seeing Kakashi's well-trained deductive skills. "The thing is, it all happened so fast and I'm still getting in terms with it all. After my promotion to Chunin, I've been doing missions non-stop, training non-stop. And now, there is the Jounin position available for me and I'm still due to complete a year as Chunin. I guess I just feels I'm not capable yet to become a Jounin like Kakashi-sensei or Anko," and mumbled Naruto, making everyone except for Maui look at him as in he was someone else entirely. Everyone knew by now that the blonde changed 100%, however as to today, Naruto never went back on his Nindo, which was to never give up no matter what. All of them saw how optimistic the blonde was, and now seeing he doesn't believing in his capabilities was frightening to say the least. Tsunade thought about what she could do to raise the man's opinion of himself until she remembered the scroll she brought with her. "Naruto, being modest isn't fitting for a shinobi. If you don't believe you're capable, then no one will. Now, I brought this scroll here which contains all your shinobi data. In here, you'll find all your abilities and personal information such as chakra affinities and level rank. Now, would you please read out loud which level you are in right now?" asked Tsunade, to which Naruto mumbled mid-level Jounin and then turned to look at the blonde Hokage for her point in all of this. "Tsunade-sama, even though I have mastery over 2 elements and ability over Kenjutsu, my mission records is lower than any Chunin in Konoha, let alone a Jounin," said Naruto, to which Tsunade nodded, actually agreeing with the blonde. However, Naruto's statement only happened because he spent 3 years training away from the village. "Naruto, in quantity, you're right. Yes, all Chunins in Konoha performed at least the double of C-ranked missions. However, very few Chunins managed to perform 12 missions between B and A ranked in less than a year. Plus the fact that you traveled for 3 years for training, So it's safe to say that should you stayed, your number of missions would be much higher than you are now. Remember that A and B ranked missions are for Jounins and high-level Chunins as well. Therefore, seeing that you succeeded in Jounin level missions is proof enough that you're capable for the Jounin promotion, said Tsunade, smiling proudly at the blonde, who in turn, looked at her and smiled. Kakashi thought about something that could convince Naruto to take the test and used it. Imagine what would Anko say when she hear that you didn't take the Jounin exam because you felt you're not capable, said Kakashi with a sinister smile on his face, showing Naruto that if Anko didn't find out, he would be glad to talk to her. Naruto for his part snorted at his sensei for using such leverage against him and turned to think. Of course, Anko would first kick his ass all the way to Iwa for even thinking and not attending the Jounin exam. Naruto loved his girlfriend, but he also knew that Anko has a wilder side that no one, save for him, ever saw, and trembled just from remembering the last time Anko exploded when he told her that he was too tired from a mission to have sex. Surely, she would tear me apart easily. Okay, fine, I'll take the exam. This isn't over, though, Kakashi-sensei. You dare use Anko for leverage, and now you gave me an open opportunity to cause you extreme pain, if you know what I mean, whispered Naruto, making Kakashi flinch at Naruto's insinuation. You wouldn't, said Kakashi, barely able to think of his precious collection being turned to shreds by a sudden typhoon that happened to form just inside Kakashi's apartment. Meanwhile, others were gauging what student and sensei were talking about until they saw Naruto's devious grin and Kakashi's frightening stare, which meant only one thing: Naruto destroying Kakashi's Icha collection. Jiraiya, of course, objected severely, since Kakashi was the president of the so-called Icha's fan group. The rest smiled a bit before Tsunade changing the subject and approaching the blonde. Although that would be splendid. Kakashi screaming, we need to take care of the formalities. First of all, since you have knowledge in 3 elements, you have to choose 2 for a demonstration. Which one will be? Asked Tsunade, to which Naruto promptly answered, saying he picked Fuuten and Doden. Nodding at the blonde's choice, Tsunade ushered Shizune to write Naruto's choice and then proceeded with the choice regarding close combat fighting, taijutsu or kenjutsu. Naruto, of course, chose kenjutsu before seeing Tsunade smirking deviously at the blonde, making him ask her why she was smiling. Oh, nothing, I just wished you could pick taijutsu instead, it would be easier. You'll be facing an opponent in straight kenjutsu battle with our Anbo swords master. I can assure you that she'll give you trouble. Your exam will be in 2 days after your training mission is done, said Tsunade, to which Naruto ignored the comment about his opponent and just nodded. After seeing everyone leaving, except for Kakashi and Aoi, Naruto turned to Aoi in order to continue his iron manipulation training. Kakashi, however, chose to tell Naruto about who would be his opponent. Naruto, although I do believe you'll be just fine in the exams, I feel that as your sensei, you'll need to look out against Yuagao, said Kakashi, to which Naruto looked at him, asking who is this Yuagao person, to which Kakashi responded. Yuagao was a part of my Anbo team when I was Anbo captain. With Hayate's death, she became the Kenjutsu master of Konoha. Do please watch out and don't even think of lowering your defenses because she'll take the opportunity even it is just for a second, advised Kakashi, to which Naruto smiled and then turned to Aoi to begin his training. We'll worry about the exam in due time, now let's proceed from where you finished yesterday, Naruto. Land your hand on the ground and close your eyes. This time, you must feel the iron minerals from the earth itself and isolate it. After that, we'll start applying such element to regular Doden techniques, thus attempting to perform Doden Tetsuheki no Jutsu, Earth Release, Iron Barrier Jutsu, said Aoi, to which Naruto nodded while displaying a determined face and then landing his hand on the ground. Closing his eyes, he began focusing on regular Doden chakra, which allowed him control over the earth element. However, he was still due to finding the iron minerals. However, Naruto had the feeling that unlike yesterday, something was different. He couldn't describe it, though. The presence he was sensing was much heavier than earth. While Naruto was doing it, Aoi asked Kakashi to see with his Sharingan, and describe how Naruto is molding chakra. Complying, Kakashi described that although it looked like Doden, was something else. Aoi, after hearing this, smiled at the blonde who managed to find the minerals in only 2 days. Naruto, from what Kakashi told me, you managed to find it, now all you have to do is use these minerals and apply them to Doden techniques. Let's see if you really managed the exercise. Use the minerals and transform this rock here into iron rock, ordered Aoi, to which Naruto nodded and get to work. Feeling the minerals yet again, Naruto managed to channel it through the stone, changing it entirely, transforming regular into an iron rock. Well done, my boy, now rest up and we'll continue with iron manipulation tomorrow. Now, I just wanted you to see if you can use wind manipulation to control projectiles. In my days, I saw Suna ninja making shurikens and kunais rotate around him and then throw at the opponent with much more strength and speed. Correct me if I'm wrong Kakashi, but I believe is called Fuuten Kaiden Shuriken, wind release, rotating shuriken jutsu, said Aoi as he was resting his hand on his chin, in deep thinking. However, what neither Kakashi nor Naruto knew is that said technique caused a lot of trouble for him in the past, and the fact was that he wanted Naruto to learn so that he could has the chance to beat it. After hearing about such a possibility, Naruto was ecstatic. Controlling shurikens and kunais with Fuuten chakra seemed impossible at first, but now Naruto was sure he could do it if he tried hard enough. Somewhere in Fire Country, traveling slowly towards Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke was wearing the same clothes as Kabuto when he had to hide his appearance. He left Otogakure 1 week ago in order to test his strength against the one he had been fighting all his life. When both graduated and entered the same team, Naruto was clearly not fit for being a ninja. He was brash, loud and no skills whatsoever. However, as the time passed, Naruto's abilities seemed to grow, skyrocketed up to the point of beating Sasuke if it weren't for the curse seal that Orochimaru gave him. Although Sasuke did win the battle at the Valley of the End, the Uchiha knew that if he didn't have the power of the cursed seal, Naruto would have won and taken him back to Konoha just like he said he would. 3 years later, when Naruto appeared and couldn't move a single muscle against Sasuke, the Uchiha, although stoic at the time, felt like he grew much stronger than Naruto could ever hope to become, and that thought alone earned a smile on his face. The relationship between the two were purely rivalry, therefore Sasuke felt something strange when he beat Naruto. It was different than beating other opponents, though. Of course, beating a rival was way better than beating some stranger he didn't know. Remembering the time when Orochimaru said that because of the overusage of Kyuubi's chakra, at the last time they faced each other, Naruto was barely able to stand. That thought alone sent Sasuke's pride to the ground. Beating Naruto was considered a victory to Sasuke, however, upon knowing that the blonde couldn't even stand on his 2 feet, Sasuke became now eager to fight the blonde on equal terms. Truth be told, Naruto was responsible for all of Sasuke's changes. Sasuke's Sharingan appeared when he and Naruto were fighting the fake hunter in Haku. After that, it was during Sasuke's fight with Naruto at the Valley of the End that the Sharingan was fully developed, 3 Black Tomoe. It was because of Naruto growing so much that moved Sasuke to leave the village. Now, he would face Naruto one more time, and although he wanted to say that this would be the last time, he knew better not to. He knew how obnoxious Naruto was, and he also knew that no matter what happened, the blonde would always return and try convincing him to come back. Stopping for a little while to eat, Sasuke was still a week away from Konoha. He could go much faster, but he wanted to save his chakra for the fight. It wouldn't do any good to underestimate Naruto and end up wasting all his chakra, giving them the opportunity to capture him. Sasuke was caught wondering about which could be Naruto's abilities. So far, Naruto only showed 2 jutsus in front of the Uchiha, those being the Rasengan and Kage Bunshin. Although both were extremely powerful, Sasuke knew that Naruto overused them up to the point of being pitiful to watch. 1 week later, speeding through the necessary hand seals, Naruto then slammed both hands on the ground and screamed. Doten Tetsu Heki no Jutsu, Earth Release, Iron Barrier Jutsu. Instantly, a huge iron wall appeared in front of him, much to Aoi and Kakashi's delight out of seeing Naruto being able to conclude iron manipulation. However, one final test was needed. "Kakashi, would you please test the wall to see if it's resistant?" asked Aoi, to which Kakashi nodded and proceeded with the sequence of hand seals and then gathered some air. Katankuru Enden, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Missile Jutsu. Suddenly, the white fire stream got in contact with the iron wall, making a huge noise. After the smoke died, Aoi smiled upon seeing the wall still intact after receiving Konoha's strongest kata ninjutsu. "Okay Naruto, since this is the last day of our mission, I'm glad to say that you surpassed all my expectations. You managed to learn iron manipulation and were able to create a couple of jutsus of your own. Not to mention that your kenjutsu grew up exponentially. I believe that you are more than ready for the Jounin exam," said Aoi while smiling at his blonde pupil. Kakashi was smiling as well since Naruto was his student as well. Naruto, in the end, managed to overcome his obstacles, and now for the first time, Kakashi was proud of being called sensei for Team 7, even though Sasuke left to become a missing nin. Naruto finished everything by appreciating both Aoi and Kakashi for training him and scheduled to meet them at the Jounin exams. After leaving, Naruto headed straight to his apartment to rest. This last week proved to be hell for him, and he just wanted to do nothing for a while. After a while, He opened his door and took off his Chunin vest, resting it on his couch. Sensing something strange in the air, Naruto proceeded to his room before searching for the switch, turning the light on. What he saw next was as much unexpected as arousing at the same time because, there, lying on his bed, completely naked and posing in an extremely sensual way, was none other than his girlfriend Anko, apparently back from her long-term mission from Wave Country. Anko and teammate arrived 2 hours ago and heard from the Hokage that Naruto was just ending his training mission today, therefore he should be at home soon. Upon hearing this, the snake Jounin smiled deviously and left the room via Sunshine, much to Kurenai and Tsunade's dismay, since both of them knew about Anko's behavior and silently hoped that she wouldn't send Naruto to the hospital. She, then, went to his apartment and found the place where Naruto hides his key, which is below the little carpet in front of the door. Upon inside, she had the brilliant idea of surprising her lover by taking off her clothes and wait for him to arrive naked. True to Anko's plan, Naruto was surprised upon seeing her figure lying on his bed naked. She was even more delighted when she saw her boyfriend's devious smirk that happened to send chills all over her body in anticipation. Without even muttering a word, Naruto just crawled on top of Anko and smashed his lips with hers, demonstrating just how much he missed her. While Naruto was taking care of kissing her, Anko was using her abilities to undress the Chunin as quickly as possible. Before the blonde knew it, he was already naked and on top of his girl. "I missed you a lot, Ankoken. I want to show how much," said Naruto as he used his tongue, licking Anko's body very sexy, earning a longing moan from Anko. The woman was gathering a large concentration of steam on her mission and thought about masturbating just so that she could blow off some of the steam. However, Anko was screaming in delight for not succumbing too early to temptation simply because Naruto's tongue was taking good care of this. Suddenly when Naruto reached Anko's womanhood, the woman couldn't control herself any longer. Oh, how much she missed his tongue licking her inner walls like that. Anko was squeezing the mattresses for dear life and silently threat anything that stops this from becoming the best night she ever had. Naruto was also having the time of his life. He grew accustomed to having sex with Anko up to the point of missing the noises she made when he pleasured her. Now, after hearing it again since 1 month ago, Naruto wanted to hear more. He wanted to pleasure her as much as possible. Naruto wasn't a pervert by any means, nonetheless there is little he could control when he heard Anko moaning. Back to Anko, she was now weightless. Regular stuff like breathing and gravity meant nothing to her. All that mattered was her boyfriend making her scream out of her mind. She really wanted more. She wanted this night to last forever. She wanted Naruto to possess her in ways that even Jiraiya would be embarrassed in seeing. She wanted Naruto to use every bit of stamina he got and just screw her up in every possible way. At this point, the couple didn't have a mind of their own anymore. Both of them were moved by pure hormones and being sure the other had as much pleasure as possible. That said, the couple took rotations. After Naruto blowing Anko, she began stroking his cock with both her mouth and her left hand, thus making Naruto moan and ask for more as Naruto accelerated the blowjob. Out of the blue, Naruto grabbed Anko with all his strength and flipped her over so that while she gave him a blowjob, he would blow her as well. Upon recovering control over her body, Anko noticed Naruto's maneuver and smiled at her boyfriend's creativity. This way, both could pleasure each other, therefore transforming this night into a memorable one. The woman decided not to think so much and just let their feelings for each other conduct the act of making. So, she went back to sucking Naruto's cock while moaning at the same time from Naruto sucking her inner walls. However, she couldn't do these two things the same time simply because Naruto's tongue was making her moan so much that she was having trouble concentrating. Anko was loving each second of it up to the point of not being sure what she longed for the most. She wanted to feel him inside of her, however she also wanted his tongue to continue licking her. Plus the fact that she pretty much lost all control that any woman have and she was expecting to have an orgasm at any minute now. Naruto for his part knew his girlfriend and also knew when it was time for her to come. When Anko was about to have an orgasm, her inner walls would tighten around his member up to the point of hurting it, which consequentially, makes him come as well from the pressure. Suddenly, the blonde had an idea that could easily explode her inner walls. While licking her violently, Naruto reached two of his fingers and began massaging her clit very slowly, which made Anko suddenly lose focus on her eyes and lost her eyesight for a moment. And it was that moment that Anko ejaculated right on Naruto's face like a jet, before resting on bed, tired. When she turned to see her boyfriend, she saw that his face was all covered with her cum and that alone turned her on again. She instantly jumped and started kissing Naruto fiercely while taking turns to lick his face, thus cleaning it from her cum, which she found that it really tasted like dango. Suddenly she whispered close to his ear, "I want you inside of me, Naruto-kun." Upon hearing that, Anko pushed the blonde down so that he would be lying down. Then, she took his firm cock and placed it inside her cunt. A few seconds later, Naruto's member already filled every inch of her inner walls while she was riding it, moaning like crazy. While Anko accelerated the pace, Naruto was getting even more aroused than he already was. Suddenly, he flipped her over and began sticking it in from behind while grabbing her hair and pushing it, filling her up with delight. Anko always loved when Naruto was rough with her. She longed for his member to reach the end of her pussy so much that she was practically repeating the words harder and faster. Not being one to disobey, especially at this point, Naruto complied and intensified the lovemaking. It didn't waste long until Anko were at her peak once again and Naruto was holding to dear life, so that he wouldn't come inside of her. When Naruto was about to have an orgasm, he screamed for her name and took it out much to the protest of Anko, who even though didn't want to be pregnant, really longed for more of Naruto's cock. However, she wouldn't lose the opportunity of not being with Naruto for a whole month, so she began sucking every inch of Naruto's load while sucking his cock at the same time. After the lovemaking, Anko collapsed on her lover's chest, carrying a deep and comforting smile as if she just took a ton of bricks off her shoulder. Naruto waited a little while so that Anko woke up and then the couple began to talk about what happened this last month. Anko told Naruto about Tazuna, Inari and Tsunami and how much Naruto himself influenced them, making Naruto smile at the nostalgic feeling. Anko also told about Kurenai's team and how they interact with each other, also earning a smile from Naruto. Naruto knew that apart from his team, which pretty much split up, the rest of the teams were united and had excellent teamwork. Naruto told about meeting Aoi and then having the opportunity to train with an EWS-ranked Anbu member. He told about the new jutsus he invented along with Aoi and Kakashi's help and even learned how to manipulate iron, much to Anko's jealousy since she longed to reach that level of Doton manipulation. However, when Naruto told about him taking the Jounin exams in 2 days, Anko screamed in joy and pride that Naruto heard someone screaming outside. Naruto, although I'm not complaining when you and Anko are together, doesn't mean you two have to shout, shouted Rikimaru from the wall, earning guilt face from Anko and a smiling Naruto who waved for Anko not to worry and screamed. Sorry about that, Rikimaru-san, have a good night, or morning. Hee hee hee. The next day, the couple awake to a knock on the door. When Naruto went to see who it was, he was surprised to see Rikimaru there waiting. Good morning, Rikimaru-san, how can I help you? Asked Naruto, to which the Anbu member nodded and replied. Well, I kind of forgot to shop for groceries yesterday and I don't have anything to eat back at home. Mind if I fix something? You kind of owe me for not letting me sleep at all last night, mumbled Rikimaru, to which Naruto laughed and nodded for him to enter and fix whatever he wanted from the fridge. While the Anbu member was eating something, Naruto and Anko dressed up and then appeared at the dining table to join Rikimaru. The man commended Naruto on finally becoming a Jounin and appreciated the quick sandwich, to which Naruto nodded and then accompanied Rikimaru to the door. When he closed the door, however, he heard a sound outside that resembled a kunai. Alarmed for enemies, Naruto opened the door only to see that was in fact a kunai, but strapped to it was a note. Taking the note and once again closing the door, he took a sit near the table and opened the note, before narrowing his eyesight at what the note contained. Anko, after seeing her lover being serious, took the note and read it, before understanding why Naruto was suddenly serious. What are you going to do, Naruto-kun? Asked Anko, silently hoping Naruto to make the right decision. Naruto, for his part, wasn't angry at what the note contained. He long since that time let it go and began focusing only on his ninja career. Naruto knew that he couldn't go alone. He wasn't a Jounin anymore, and as a Chunin about to become a Jounin, his act had repercussions. Anko-kun, follow me, we're going to see one person and then communicate this to the Hokage, said Naruto, to which Anko smiled and then followed him as he charged towards said person's house. Upon arrival and a couple punches at the door, Kakashi opened the door with a kunai in his hand with the promise of killing the one who thought it was a good idea to awake him at this time. This is Kakashi we're talking about, not that the Anbu captain Kakashi. When Kakashi saw Anko and a very serious Naruto, Kakashi knew that something was up. Kakashi-sensei, we have a problem, said Naruto before handing the note to his sensei. The lazy Jounin didn't need time to contemplate what's written and he became serious as well. Naruto told Kakashi to dress up and follow them to the Hokage. Nodding, he went inside and began to change. In spite the situation, Kakashi applauded Naruto for communicating him and applauded even more when Naruto wanted to let the Hokage know as well. Surely, he grew up in terms of responsibility. At the Hokage's office after the group, Kakashi, Naruto and Anko entered inside Tsunade's office, They all came in terms with the fact that maybe she should take a vacation. Piles and piles of scrolls, almost on the verge of falling, and the goddamn Hokage was found asleep on her desk. Sighing at having to wake her up, Naruto summoned a Kage Bunshin and told him to wake her up. The clone sighed once again and went to shake the Hokage up a little, before meeting the same fate everyone who ever decided to wake her up suffered, her fist. Naruto really hated this part, simply because even though he wasn't the one who took the punch, the memory of almost having an internal bleeding was transferred to him, thus making him hold his stomach. The Hokage noticed the smoke produced from the Kage Bunshin and apologized upon seeing Naruto holding his stomach as if he was the one that took the blow. "Tsunade-sama, you should consider using Kage Bunshin in here and rest a little bit. Seriously, you'll end up killing someone," said Naruto, making Tsunade blink and blink again, trying to assimilate the idea. All the time she wasted while she could split the work at least 3 times, earning him much more time to rest and do stuff. She cursed the brat in front of her for not saying anything, and she cursed herself from not thinking about this sooner. "Damn it, Naruto, you could have told me that before. Now, normally when you are here, it doesn't mean much, but seeing you with a Tokubetsu Jounin and an elite Jounin show me that something is up." "What is it?" asked Tsunade, to which Naruto moved forward and handed to her the note. "This note came attached to a kunai what stabbed through my door this morning," said Naruto, and waited for Tsunade to read the note's content. "This is serious, Naruto. This could very well be a trap designed to lure you and eliminate you. It could also be from Akatsuki." "Why are you so sure it's from him?" asked Tsunade, to which Naruto responded. "No one called me like that in a while. Also, Itachi wouldn't resort to sending a note and lure the entire village's attention. That said, I'm sure this note was written by Uchiha Sasuke," explained Naruto, to which Kakashi chose to give his explication. "Tsunade-sama, I've read it with my Sharingan and was able to find traces of Sasuke's chakra, which tells me that either he knew Naruto wouldn't notice or he didn't care if he attracted our attention, which I believe is the former," explained Kakashi, earning glance of slight irritation coming from Naruto, whose abilities were diminished. "Naruto, Sasuke doesn't know that you changed the way you did. He probably figured you'd appear by his side almost instantly. I'm sure he's wondering why you didn't show up yet. My strategy is to send me, Yamato and Rikimaru to stay hidden along the area in case Naruto needs help," said Kakashi before seeing Tsunade thinking for a while. "Kakashi, Rikimaru's team was sent on a mission towards Danzakugai and won't return until tomorrow, however you and Yamato are free to go. This can't reach Sakura's ear, so the 3 of you will leave for a fake mission to fight an A-ranked missing that came from Kumo. Naruto, although it's no doubt you became 10 times stronger than before, if Sasuke uses the curse seal, you cannot rely on Kyuubi's power to beat him," said Tsunade, to which all present nodded and Naruto turned to Anko. "Sorry Anko-kun, but I need to go. I know you just returned from your mission and," said Naruto, but was stopped when said woman shut him up with a deep kiss on the lips. "Don't worry, Naruto. I'm also proud of you for not charging blindly. I know that you long since forgotten about the broody bastard and you're only going because he's a treat to the village. I will say only one thing, though. If you lose the fight, you'll deal with me, got it mister," said Anko, to which Naruto smiled and kissed Anko on her forehead, whispering "I love you" so that only Anko would listen, earning a blushed face from Anko. "I love you too, Naruto-kun, and you come back safe to me, you hear?" said Anko, to which Naruto nodded and then ushered Kakashi to leave with him as well, leaving Anko alone with Tsunade. "Congratulations, Anko. I've never seen you so happy. Gaki must be quite a guy," said Tsunade, to which Anko smiled slightly and nodded. "He is more than that, I'm afraid," said Anko, once again blushing before hearing Tsunade laughing upon seeing a woman in love. Anko, of course, snorted at the older woman, who in turn apologized and said that she would never thought she would see Anko behave like this when it comes to a certain man. Anko, however, still blushing, managed to discuss with the Hokage. "Tsunade-sama, I also came for another reason. I've come to know that Jiraiya-sama is studying on removing the cursed seal for quite a while. Because of the way my relationship with Naruto is developing, I think it's better to remove it or set a much stronger restriction seal," said Anko, to which Tsunade nodded. "Although that man is a pervert, I can't take the fact that he is the best in the art of Fuyu and Jutsu. I'll call him and see what he could do. I believe he will be able to extract yours, because unlike Sasuke, you didn't use your cursed seal, thus it didn't affect you much. However, the cursed seal is and always will be a sensitive subject, thus please don't raise your hopes up. Rest for a while, Anko. You just returned from a month journey and Naruto will win this battle. Even if he doesn't, which I doubt it, Yamato and Kakashi will be there to help him as well as," said Tsunade, but Anko felt complied to finish the sentence. Make sure Naruto doesn't use the fox, said Anko, earning a nod from Tsunade, who in turn smiled at the woman's sharp thinking. Well Anko, I will call Jiraiya to take a look at your seal, so when he arrives, I'll be sure to reach you, said Tsunade, to which Anko nodded and then turned for the door. After closing the door, she left towards her apartment via Sunshine. Appreciating some time alone, she wondered what Naruto would do to overcome the curse seal level 2. With Naruto already gathered with Yamato, the group charged towards the place when Naruto and Sasuke fought for the last time. On the way, Yamato made some questions regarding the authenticity of the note as well as Naruto and Kakashi's reasons not to believe it's a trap. However, when both Kakashi and Naruto gave their reasons, Yamato dismissed the issue. On the way, Kakashi explained the plan to Yamato, which consisted of Yamato hiding inside one of the trees that surrounded the valley while Kakashi would stay a short distance away from the fight so that he would reach the place in case of an intervention. Therefore, Naruto was free to use the whole landscape and not be afraid of revealing his group's position. After a while, the group stopped about 10 miles from the place where Sasuke and Naruto should meet. Before Naruto left, Kakashi called him and reassured him. "Naruto, this will be your test to see if the training mission was really successful," said Kakashi, to which Naruto nodded and appreciated the concern. His pace towards the place was calm and controlled. He didn't need to rush things. Why should he? It was Sasuke who called him, not the other way around. Therefore, he just walked calmly, admiring the beautiful view that surrounded him. He learned to act this way by following Aoi's teachings, and truth be told, he was enjoying every step of the way. When he arrived on top of the Shodaime, he saw the same figure standing on top of Uchiha Madara's statue. There he was, Uchiha Sasuke, wearing a white blouse with the Uchiha symbol on his back, blue pants and the trademark rope tied around his waist. Naruto was, as per usual, wearing the standard Chunin wear with his sword strapped on his back. Sasuke looked at Naruto and noticed something different with the blonde. He of course noticed the outfit and concluded that he was promoted to Chunin. Also, Sasuke saw the sword strapped on his back and wondered if Naruto learned how to use it or was just showing off. However, what he noticed the most was the blonde's impassivity to this whole event. Sasuke expected Naruto to come at him blabbering words about coming back to Konoha or don't fall trap to Orochimaru. However, when Naruto came here walking without a care in the world, it unnerved Sasuke a little bit. His blood began to boil at the thought of the blonde doesn't recognizing him as more than a threat. Naruto, upon looking at Sasuke, smiled casually. Naruto was proud to say he didn't actually care what happened to the Uchiha. He noticed that Sasuke was clenching his teeth in anticipation, or perhaps because Naruto didn't care less about fighting an Uchiha. "You took a while to get here, Dobe. I was expecting that you're stronger or faster than before, but seeing how long it took for you to get here, you must be tired," said Sasuke, though Naruto wouldn't take his smile away from his face. "I just felt like walking today. It's a lovely day after all," said Naruto while looking around him as in admiring his view. Sasuke was becoming suspicious now because the Naruto in front of him was so calm and collected. Naruto, suddenly, turned to the Uchiha. "I'm in doubt about something and hopefully you could solve it. First, you tell me not to come and try rescuing you, now you come here yourself and reach for me. You need to settle your mind," smiled Naruto, upon seeing Sasuke snarling at his commentary. Sasuke didn't know what possessed Naruto to behave like this, but he knew something was definitely different with Naruto. However, Sasuke didn't come here to talk. Instantly, the Sharingan was activated and in what could be described as blur, Sasuke appeared side by side with the blonde, who in turn, looked at Sasuke still with a smile on his face. "It's nice of you to drop by, Sasuke. How have you been since we last met?" asked Naruto, silently enjoying the Uchiha's angry face after being mocked by Naruto. "You dare mock me, I'll show you," said Sasuke before charging in with impressive speed with his Kusanagi sword already in hand. Naruto picked up his own and defended Sasuke's slash that would have met the blonde's neck. After defending, Naruto performed a swing kick, hitting Sasuke, sending him flying. However, Sasuke was unfazed and left a few feet away. The Uchiha was wondering why Naruto's sword didn't break from getting in contact against the Kusanagi, until his Sharingan caught active traces of Fuuten chakra being channeled to the sword and smiled. "I was wondering how your sword managed to keep up with Kusanagi, but I realized you are a Fuuten user, so you're charging wind chakra and strengthening the blade. Not bad, however, let's see what other abilities," said Sasuke before jumping towards the river. Naruto smiled before making some hand seals for Fuuten Kaze no Yaiba, wind release, wind sword jutsu. Just as Sasuke landed on top of the river, his Sharingan saw Naruto's attack approaching and barely evaded, earning a scratch on his left cheek. Looking up in rage at being attacked from behind, Sasuke felt the trace of Fuuten chakra. Even though he was caught by surprise, he now knew the blonde's abilities, which by the way revolved around wind chakra. When Naruto landed on the water, Sasuke smirked and made some hand seals. Kaden Gukakyu no Jutsu Fire Release, Great Fireball Jutsu. From out of nowhere, a giant fireball charged towards Naruto, who in turn simply stopped molding chakra through his feet and went underwater and instantly swam far before the smoke dissipated. After the smoke dissipated, Sasuke began his search for Naruto. However, when he turned to his left, he was suddenly hit by a powerful wind blast courtesy of Naruto's Fuuten Daitappa, Wind Release, Great Breakthrough Jutsu. While flying, Sasuke flipped his body and landed safely on the water. He once again looked at Naruto's direction and once again found traces of Fuuten chakra all around the place. Growing tired of this, Sasuke began using his Cursed Seal level 1 and then charged at Naruto's location with much more speed than before. Naruto, after seeing this, became serious and focused more chakra through his sword in order to withstand Sasuke's attack. Upon contact, the noise of the swords clashing reverberated throughout the valley. After, Naruto jumped backwards and channeled chakra through his feet, thus propelling him towards the Uchiha, who in turn dodged in time thanks to the Sharingan. Facing one another yet again, Naruto suddenly looked towards Sasuke's chin simply because he didn't want Sasuke from copying this jutsu. Speeding the sequence a bit for Fuuten Suidu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Tornado Tunnel Jutsu, Naruto attacked Sasuke, who used his sword and chakra to his feet to stay put until the wind died. When the wind initiated, though, Sasuke noticed too late that instead of being like a normal hurricane, this one was spinning vertically, thus hitting him dead on the chest. Seeing Sasuke getting up sent Naruto on edge. Sasuke was now focused on the kill and wouldn't stop at nothing until Naruto was dead. Therefore, Naruto would have to fight his style of fighting Kenjutsu. Aoi and Rikimaru's style joined together with Naruto's Fuuten Bakushin, Wind Release, Wind Dash Jutsu. Charging once again, Sasuke and Naruto began a Kenjutsu match worthy of high-level Jounin. Sasuke was considered for his high-speed fighting and even Orochimaru himself had trouble keeping up. However, even though Sasuke knew Naruto was using Fuuten chakra, he didn't have the knowledge of how Naruto was using it to dodge his attacks. Also, it was thanks to the Sharingan that Sasuke was able to dodge Naruto's incoming attacks. Reacting quickly, Naruto kicked Sasuke away from him and once again began the hand seals. Fuuten Kaze no Ngai, Wind Release, Wind Dome Jutsu, said Naruto, before managing to trap Sasuke within the Dome of Wind. Sasuke saw the chakra molding but didn't react fast enough, causing him to fall for Naruto's trap. Don't try anything, Sasuke. There is Fuuten chakra all around you, if you touch, you'll be sliced. Also, inside the dome, there isn't air to breathe, as I'm sure you noticed. So, in case you don't want to suffocate to death, surrender and I'll stop the dome, said Naruto. While the fight was going on, Sasuke was wondering when the hell did Naruto learn Fuuten ninjutsu up to this level. He did techniques that Sasuke didn't even think was possible, and now he was trapped inside one of Naruto's jutsus yet again and he couldn't do a thing. If he used kata ninjutsu, he would be dead and lightning are weak against wind, so he didn't have anything. Sighing in frustration, Sasuke didn't have a choice. Reverting on the Cursed Seal yet again, Sasuke changed to his level 2 and used his wings to stop the wind dome around him and look at Naruto in order to cast a genjutsu at him. However, by doing this, Sasuke's eyes suddenly met with Naruto's changed eyes and became petrified. Even though with the Cursed Seal level 2, Sasuke felt the same way as Kakashi did when he looked at Naruto's eyes. He suddenly saw the very same blonde using his sword and decapitating him multiple times. The Uchiha wondered if Naruto learned to cast genjutsu just like he did, but he had the Sharingan activated, so it couldn't be a genjutsu. Being that said, there was only one possible explanation for all of this, a dojutsu. Feeling the urge to fight, he couldn't. Meeting Naruto's eyes were actually the same as when his brother Itachi looked at him with the main Jinkaiyu Sharingan, and it was safe to say that both of them were terrifying to say the least. For Kami knows how long, Sasuke had nightmares about Itachi's evolved Sharingan, and now Naruto's stare were just as threatening as his brother's. Suddenly, Sasuke managed to see that Naruto moved slowly towards him with his stare, which pretty much froze Sasuke in place. When Naruto appeared in front of Sasuke, the Uchiha was already hyperventilating from pure fear. It was not a normal fear, though. Sasuke for the first time felt like he was going to die. It was because of his state of mind that Naruto used his sword and landed a hit on Sasuke's neck, thus rendering him unconscious. Seconds later, Yamato and Kakashi appeared and grabbed Sasuke's unconscious body. Yamato, however, made a mistake and chose to look at Naruto before the blonde had the chance to deactivate his new stare, which resulted in Yamato seeing exactly what Sasuke did. Kakashi sighed upon remembering about Naruto's eyes and explained everything to Yamato. The wood user was shocked at first, but when Naruto apologized from not deactivating in time, Yamato waved him off, saying that he wouldn't want to be Naruto's enemy ever. Making Sasuke eat a wood pill that happened to stop the chakra flowing inside Sasuke's body, Yamato lifted the young Uchiha and all three of them headed back to Konoha. On the way, Kakashi asked Naruto why he only used Fuuten in jutsu, which earned a smile from Naruto. The Wind Dome jutsu was my weapon against a fire/lightning user such as Sasuke. Also, if Sasuke saw me using more than one element, he would get all power hungry, thus, getting agitated. If he reached level 2 earlier, I wouldn't have the chance to beat him. Sasuke underestimated me and paid the price. Even though I didn't consider taking him back anymore, it's safer for him to be locked down. This way, he won't be able to use either the curse seal or any chakra for that matter, said Naruto, to which Kakashi nodded and looked forward. You're right about one thing. Yes, it's better for him to be locked down, and I happen to concur with your choice of techniques. You showed wisdom in using the techniques you feel more comfortable using. Even though you have 2 affinities and knowledge on a third, your primary affinity is wind. Plus the fact that you embrace this element to your kenjutsu fighting, from what I've seen, said Kakashi, to which Naruto nodded. I have to talk to Rikimaru, though. Fighting the Kusanagi took a heavy blow on my sword and I was wondering if he knew how to fix it, said Naruto, to which Kakashi nodded. Oh, I believe he knows the right guy for the job. Great work, Naruto. You managed to be calm despite Sasuke's taunting, and in the end, you managed to beat him, without succumbing to Kyuubi's chakra, praised Kakashi at his student, who in turn, smiled and stepped up the pace back to Konoha.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.